Welcome to the world of musical sounds. In a moment, you will meet someone who will take you on a mysterious journey in which you will get to know the best genres of music from all over the world. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome
Alright, see how this is going to look. I totally forgot to turn my mic on. I apologize for that. Test, test, test. Why is my audio so low? Okay, let's turn this up a little bit. Test, test. Okay, yeah, we can hear me there. Turn me up a little bit more. All right. I'm looking at my phone, so that's why I'm trying to look at the audio. So let me pull that up a little bit more there. Test, test, test. All right, there we go. Okay, now I want to try some background audio for a second. See how this sounds. a second so I don't get all that feedback. Okay, we're gonna get some music here. And you know what? I can use some YouTube stuff right now. Okay, there's Callie there. Okay, let's use this. Go this back up here. Should have some music here. Yeah, right there. Some. Okay, let's pick all right. I'm gonna check some audio here. See if these levels come through. All right. I'm hearing some Doobie Brothers, so hopefully you guys are gonna hear some too.
She trying hard to recreate what had yet to be created. Watching her life, she musters a smile for his nostalgic tale. Never coming near what he wanted to say, only to realize it never really was. She had a place in his life.
Turn the audio down.
As she rises to her apology, anybody else would surely know. He's watching her go.
Okay, now we still should be able to hear me pretty well. Turn me down just a little bit. Okay, now the music's not too loud for my voice. Turn the music down just a little bit more. Okay, this sounds nice. Okay. Here we go. So let's come over here to Callie. Log in, got the music down nice and low, so let's go. Let's see. Group. Callie. I think I typed it in on my phone. We're logging into Callie. Got me some tunes. And when I do my walkthrough, let me look over here just to see if anybody even popped in to say hi. We got 2 viewers, it looks like. One's me from my phone, so I don't know who the other is, but welcome, viewer. Thanks for dropping by. I was just testing out, like I said, I wanted to see how everything's looking on my OBS and my YouTube. Because normally I do it from my regular YouTube studio, and I keep having some issues when I want to turn on and off the cam. So this way, I can turn my cam on and off when I need to step away. I just don't know how my bandwidth's going to be with, because I know I've had some issues with OBS before, where it starts lagging a little bit. All right, let's see. Okay, right here. Look at the terminal. That we can view this, okay? Go back over here to OBS. I can see that pretty well on the screen. Yeah, that looks actually pretty good, I must say so. Alright. Yeah, let's try another thing in music here. Just kind of curious. Let's do so here. Just going to change some music again real quick here. I want to try out some different styles here. Let's do some R&B. All right, here we go. Little A-Town Girl from Usher.
She from the ATLANTA, reps on 6 folks from Cascade. Learned how to skate when she was in 1st grade. Went to Clark, ain't graduate.
Alright, so now we see we got our root Cali looking good over here on this end. My mic seems like I might be a little still tipping, pitching up there a little bit. So bring me down just a little bit more. I don't want to be blowing ears out here. Alright. Looking pretty good here. Looking good, looking good, looking good. Over here to my channel. Over here. Alright. Looks like it's doing pretty well over here. Just gonna check out my phone one more time. Alright, everything looks good over here coming through the phone. I might back up just a little bit on my audio. If I get this dialed in, we should be good. Test, test, test. Alright, I think that sounds good. Alright. Headphones back on. And one more check on the song before I go through here. Let's see.
This right here, this that shit that'll have you all inside of your feelings, confessing your love for the one. This right here, gonna make you put a ring on it, making calls about your feelings, confessing your love. When I used to hear those love songs, would turn them off, 'cause that ain't what I was on. Till I found the one that I could take home. Now when they
All
play,
right,
you get me
here we
singing
go.
along. At the top of my lungs, just like this one and this right here. This right
Bop, bop, bop.
here, this that shit that'll have you all inside of your
This is that shit that'll have you.
confessing your love for the one. This right here, gonna make you put a ring on it, make it hard, about your feelings, confessing
All
your
right.
love.
So what we have here, we're going to do Symfonos 2. So let's see if we actually have her fired up. See, we actually don't. We still got the VPLE, so we're going to turn that one off. This is what I was testing earlier. So if you guys didn't get to see it, I have a video earlier that we were covering all this. So you can go back and check that out if you would like. Got to shut that one off. We're going to turn Symfonos 2. Let's turn this on, start up the gas. Alright, so I've done some walkthroughs of this somewhat before. We were covering all the resources. This time we're just actually just going to step right through it. So we're going to start from the beginning, go to the end. Not going to read any of the resources. We're just going to copy and paste the code. And I just want to see if you guys can maybe understand or maybe just enjoy just watching me be able to complete the box. So let's get Symfonos 2. Wait for it, wait for it. That still hasn't stopped yet. So, open up Cherry Tree. Get this to respond, being very slow right now. There's Cherry Tree.
Confessing your love for the one. This right here, gonna make you put a ring on it, making calls about your feelings. Is this forever? Confessing your love for the one.
Cherry Tree.
Because you found one of them.
Let's go all the way up. All right. Okay, we're gonna stop some of that music there for a minute. And let's look back over here. Because I don't got the YouTube open. All right. Come back over here. Now I want to get some music again. Let's see what we could do. Somehow just listen through all the way through. And I think what I'll do here is yeah, here's some good music. This will be good. I'll definitely get copyright hit for this, but these are good songs. I like this band a lot. Okay. we got our music. Let's do our walkthrough, shall we? Here we go. So let's go back over to Cherry Tree. Okay, so what we're going to do, this is Symfonos 2, and we're just going to get right into it. So the first command we're going to do is our ifconfig. Just to show you right there, ifconfig. So here, we're going to copy this. You could type it, but I'm just going to copy and paste so we can just hurry up and get through this. I just want to show you guys I completed it. So ifconfig. Go to File. Going to open up a new tab. This one. Let's type in ifconfig. Because again, we want to rename name all of our tabs, correct? We can take our nodes. ifconfig. Notice here, our Kali box is going to be right here on Ethernet 0. We are 132. And if you see here, 192, 168, 148, 132 is our subnet. And right here, 132 is going to be our device on the network, right? 132. All right, so next command we go through, it's going to be net discovery, but just to show you guys here. Yeah, this is my CTF write-up. So we go through all the resources. I'll also show you a quicker way we could do this. You can see here, we're going to go with this net discover command right here. And it's going to be interface Ethernet 0. Back up here. And I copied that by mistake. And we're going to let that run. We're going to call this net discover. And I'm actually thinking after I get done with this, I might do some karaoke tonight. So if anybody wants to join me, definitely keep an eye on my stream. I'll be doing this on StreamYard. I only had about 10 hours left on StreamYard till September 7th. So I'll probably maybe stream for about an hour or two, singing some karaoke. So hopefully you guys will come and join and have some fun singing along with me. All right, so notice here, we got 135. So if we hear, so we'll wait one more second for that to get finished. Dot one we do know is going to be our router. Like I'm screaming. So let me pull this music down just a little bit more. There we go. So we got the music down a little bit lower. Okay, so as you see, 135. This looks like this is going to be our target machine. Again, we're on the same network of 192.168.148. Dot one is going to be our router. And we should see a 254, which will be our loop back. It'll come up in a second. So on the next one we want to do, we're going to just go File. We're going to go New Tab. We're just going to call this ARP. Okay. This is another way we could find the host on the network a little bit quicker. And I'm following directly with, I just don't want to skip ahead. So if you notice here, see net discover, I could do a simple ARP scan. Well, that was the next part in the note. So we do a net discover, but I just want to show you right here. As you see, there's the ARP scan. So ARP scan -L, okay? And it'll show you just how much quicker this is compared to a net discover, okay? We can go ARP scan like that, -L, let it run. And as you see, it's going to return back a lot faster, saying it's already done. Boom. As net discover, see, we were still waiting for that information to come back. So here we go. So shift Z. Control Alt Z. Okay. So we see 254 is the loopback, .1 is our router, 135 is going to be our target machine of Symfonos, okay? Same thing as you see here, came back with 135, right? So that's going to be our target machine. This is their MAC address. And as you notice, it's in a virtual machine, so it's the same VMware Incorporated. Before any other time, it would be telling us the name of the vendor as well as the hardware that was being used, okay? So, we come up next, we've got, I just want to double check the chat, see if we got anybody that might pop in. And no, nobody popped in. All right, so let's come back over. Okay. Scroll down. Now we're going to be doing our in-map scan. Now another way we could have done this too is, I can show you this real quick. It would be in-map SN. So let's say we wanted to find a target a different way, right? I'm just going to just show you this. I didn't put this in the write-up, but I'll show you another command that you could do. You can go in-map -SN. What we want to do here is we're going to put a /24. But notice we still want to do 192.168.148. We know that's subnet. Then we just want to put 0. We want a 024 subnet mask. So now it's going to scan all the ports through that subdomain, and it's going to tell us that I did. Oh, never mind. Never mind. I'm getting ahead of myself. Hold on. So that was going to show us all the ports that would be open. I could have done the port scan, but yeah, I'll show you another way. All right, so we know our target machine 135, okay? If we come back over here, we're going to do our in-map scan. We're going to check our ports, okay? This is our standard port. So as you see here, our target 135. We're going to do in-map, capital A, lowercase s, C. Let's go copy. As you see right here, this is what the flags stand for. So it's going to enable the operating system detection, the version detection, script scanning, and trace route. Small sc is the equivalent to default scripts that we're going to run, and we're going to do a capital P, in, small, lowercase n. Do not send ICMP packets, okay? Come up here. Pull this in map. Put the name of our target. 192.168.148.135. Be nice if I could spell in map. Let nmap run. If you look here, this is what nmap's going to return back to us. Again, we could have put some more flags. These are more resources that you'll be able to look through when you read the PDF. My write-up. As you see here, we're going to have port 21, which is FTP. It's running Pro FTPD 1.35. Okay. Next one is going to be open. It's SSH, which is on port 22. Port 80. We have WebFS that's running. So there is a website that's running here as well on port 80. 139 and port 145, as you see, there's 139 and 445, which is a Samba. Trying to get where my picture you could see it. Good. Get up there where you could see. Yeah, as you see, there's a Samba server. Go up a little bit more so you can see the info. 139 and port 445, see? Samdo right here. They're both open. We'll get more information here in just a second. We're going to run some more recon scans. And again, recon's the most vital part. So as you see right here, I wrote here, see? We return 5 results. Port 21, which is FTP, which is Pro FTPD running on it. So if we do a Google search, we're going to look up Pro FTPD, and you'll get some more information. Port 22, we're running SSH. Port 80 is HTTP. Port 139, again, with Samba. Port 445 is a Samba server as well. So now we know more about our target. We can clearly see that port 80 HTTP is open and hosting a Apache website. Port 21 FTP running this Pro FTP version of 1.35 looks very interesting. As I previously stated, recon and learning as much about the target is always vital. So let's do some Google Foo, shall we? I'll give you some more resources. These are a few resources that I found that may be very useful as we proceed. So what is FTP in the first place? And first, what is Pro FTP anyway? Right here, I put a little excerpt of what Pro FTPD is. It's a highly configurable FTP daemon, which is a file transfer protocol daemon, okay, for Unix and Unix-like operating systems. Pro FTPD grew from a desire from a secure and configurable FTP server. It is inspirable by a significant administration of the Apache web server. And they were becoming more of a distraction because they're yelling in my ear. I don't know if you guys can hear it that loud, but I hear it pretty loud. All right, so it was inspired. Okay, unlike most of their Unix FTP servers, it has been derived from old BSD, FTP code base, and it is completely newly designed implementation. Also found a Pro FTPD 1.35 is exploitable, and it has a CVE. CVE is also known as a common vulnerabilities and exposure. And I give you some references on what is a CVE, so you can look that up. We also found an exploit database. As you see, Pro FTPD 1.35 does have a remote code execution exploit. So I was showing you here. We can look here. The exploit database. We also see the write-up, the CVE. It tells more about the exploit. See, as we see, there's also CVE 2015-3306. We can view and learn more about the exploit and techniques to use on how to exploit. Right here, I'll give you some more information about it. This shows you the copy module in Pro FTP 1.35 allows a remote attacker to read and write arbitrary files via the CPR and site CPTO commands. Again, more recon that you know is revealing more information to us. Okay, and again, this CPFR and CPTO commands, I give you some resources so you're going to actually understand more about that as well. Right here is our see, interesting. Mod copy module in Pro FTPD 1.35 allows remote attackers to read and write arbitrary files, okay, via the site CPFR and site CPTO commands. If you look here, I give some resources, but I give screenshots. CPFR. This site command specifies the source file directory to use for copying from one place to another directly on the site, okay? This CPTO, so it's copy from, copy to, okay? This site command specifies the destination file directory to use for copying from one place to another, okay? Again, we could scroll over and you could read a little bit more on it with the picture. Because I do got a bar here. Okay, when you're looking on the picture, you can scroll. Okay, so you can read more about it. But all you got to remember, copy from, copy to. Once you understand the command, this is what we're going to use as our exploit. We're going to take advantage and leverage this to our advantage. Okay. So extra resources to further better understand and know some commands for the Pro FTPD module. So again, since we are using the module, you might want to be able to understand how to navigate through with the module that we're going to be using. Okay, this is put here. Okay, this was some great info, and we learned how to use some commands for the Pro FTPD module if needed. As well, we learned what a CVE is, and a few awesome websites we can use to read more about specific exploits and techniques that were used. Woohoo! Let's continue. Recon, recon, recon. Remember, recon is always the most important step in doing pen testing. Again, always making good notes. So in this next step, we're going to run a NICTO scan, right? We want to learn more about our target. So right here, I give you a resource telling you about what NICTO actually is. Again, it's a file directory scanner. So it says NICTO is an open source GPL web server scanner which performs a comprehensive test against web servers for multiple items, including over 6,700 potentially dangerous files and programs. And it checks for outdated versions of over 1,250 servers and version-specific problems on over 270 servers. It also checks for server configuration items such as the presence of multiple index files, HTTP server options, and will attempt to identify installed web servers and software. Scan items. Scan items and plugins are frequently updated, and they can be automatically updated. So, if you scroll down, this is going to be our NICTO command, as you see right here. We're just going to copy this one. H is the host, so that's what we want to put here. We're going to right click, copy, come back up here. I'm going to go file, I'm going to open up a new tab. I'm going to name this NICTO. I like to do a lot of scans because, again, I like getting as much recon as I can on my target. Again, it gives you more information. It's like a big, big puzzle, right? What we see here, right click, I'll paste, let NICTO run. So while that's running, we're going to go to our next step and read a little bit further ahead. So you see the scan's already starting. This is the information that's going to be returned back to us. And I'll show you the valid information that we're going to need. Now, if you see here, our NICTO scan returned no results that are useful, sadly. Now, again, if you see here, normally we'll get more information. It's showing us that there is a server that's running, which we already got to know that. But it usually gives better information. But again, as you see, there wasn't really much information that was given to us here. So if we come up here, see, same results, right? So we're still waiting for that to end, but again, no results. So what do? More recon. So let's steam forward further ahead and let's read some more. Our NICTO scan returned no results and that are useful, sadly. That is fine. We have other tools to continue enumerating and doing more recon on our target. So the next scan that we're going to use is called DIRB. It's Directory Buster. Okay, DIRB is a web content scanner. It looks for existing and or hidden web objects, and it basically works for launching a dictionary-based attack against a web server and analyzing the response. It comes with a set of pre-configured attack word lists for easy usage, but you can use your own custom word list. Also, DIRB sometimes can be used as a classic CGI scanner, but remember, it is a content scanner, not a vulnerability scanner. Okay? We'll give you some more resources on understanding how to hack web apps, list of HTTP codes, status codes that get returned. So here we're going to copy our DIRB command. All you're doing is going to go DIRB, going to do HTTP, and our target's address. Let's come up here. Still waiting on NICTO here. Go File, then go New tab. Right click, rename this session. I'm going to call this one DIRB. Go OK. Right click, paste your selection. Let that scan. Okay, so now let's see what results came back from DIRB. We scroll down through the CTF, or my walkthrough. After our DIRB scan is finished running, see, there are again no results that are of any usefulness to us. Okay? So again, wow, it's like banging our heads against the wall. We're not finding any good results. So again, we will continue more recon. Oh, here's another great tool. So I'm trying to introduce you to, if you've been following along with the Symfonos walkthroughs, you're actually going to learn some more information about more tools. Again, just because you got all these tools, you need to know how to use them. But every tool is used in different situations, right? I'm going to show you a couple more interesting tools that you can use. In step 6, we're going to use enum for Linux. It's an enumeration tool. If you do not already have enum for Linux installed on your Kali, it's a simple command. Okay. Now, enum for Linux is not usually installed by default. So again, it's a very easy command on how you can install. All you got to do here, you're going to do sudo. And the reason we're doing sudo If you're root already, you don't have to type sudo. But normally when you log into Kali, you're not going to be at root privilege. So you're just going to go sudo apt-get install enum for Linux. As you see here, there's the command. Say I'm root, so that's why I didn't type sudo. It's going to install it. It's going to put into libraries. After that's done, we're ready to rock and roll. I would show you the command, but there's no need because I've already got it installed. All right, so let's come down to next. See, I did not use the sudo command as I am already signed in. It's Kali as root. Let's continue further. Here's a couple of resources to tell you a little information about SMB. So you can enumerate SMB clients with the enum for Linux and the SMB client. A little guide to SMB enumeration. Again, all these resources are very useful and they're going to tell you a lot more information on how to use these tools. Now, this is going to take a while to scan, but I'm going to show you what it looks like when it runs. All you got to do is going to call our tool, enum for Linux, and we're going to type in our target, 135, okay? Which again is Symfonos 2. Going to come up here. Go File, New tab. We're going to call this one enum for Linux. Again, always name your tabs. Very great for taking notes. Just paste this in here. So again, we're going to use enum for Linux, and this is our target. Let it run. It's going to take a little bit. It's going to give you a ton of information back, okay? Now the thing is ciphering through this information and knowing how to read it. I'm going to show you, one, you can see all the information, but I'm going to show you the vital information that it's going to be more beneficial for us for this CTF, okay? Well, let's come back here, show you the information. So as you see here, this is the same information that you're seeing here through the scan. I'm going to show you the valid information that we found, that I thought that'll be, pull it up, pull it up, pull it up. All right. If you look here, this is the scan when it first starts. I wanted to show you that. Let's go to our next image. And the share enumeration. If you notice here, it's showing here the enumeration here. But let me get to right here. These users. We have an anonymous user, okay? We're going to use this and take advantage of this, okay? We're going to use this to our advantage. Now, if you notice down here, pull these pictures over so you can see them. Right here, this mapping. Notice this anonymous user, there's mapping on, okay? This is, we're going to use it to our advantage as well. You're going to see here in just a step what I'm talking about. Hopefully this might make sense to you. We're looking at the permissions, okay? So it's talking about the login username and the password. So as you now notice too, we have an anonymous user, but we also found some more information. We have another user named Alios. Now the thing is, who's this Alios user? And then we also see Kronos. So it looks like we got two users. This might come in very handy later, especially when we want to escalate our privileges, or maybe be able to log into other accounts. And you're going to see, we're going to use this. This is all vital information that we will be using as we progress. Okay. These are just a few screenshots from our enum for Linux scan that are very useful. I'm going to point out, again, I just wanted to show you the pictures, but now I'm explaining to you here. Notice the anonymous share name as well as 192.148.135 anonymous path, and mapping status is okay. As well, we have two local users, Alias and Kronos. We will look into these accounts hopefully later and may be very useful. And then I give you some referencing. So again, always in my CTFs and my walkthroughs, I always give resources. And the reason why I give these resources is so you can do deep dives and better understand the commands and what we're doing. So here, I explain what SMB mapping is, the server messages on block overviews, the overview of file sharing with SMB3 protocol and the Windows server, because this is what we're going to take advantage of since we are running a Samba server. If you look here, pen testing, SMB, right? I got an article there. We got SMB map and telling you what it actually does. It says the SMB map allows users to enumerate a Samba share drives across an entire domain. List the share drives drive permissions, and share contents, upload and download functionality, a file name and auto download pattern matching, and even execute remote commands. This tool was designed with pen testing in mind, and it is intended to simplify searching for potentially sensitive data across large networks. Some of the features have not been thoroughly tested, so change will be forthcoming. Again, kind of telling you what the tool does. Again, it's for a Samba server, and that's what we see that was running on port 139, or sorry, 339, and was it 345? So SMB client. This is going to be our 7th step. Okay, what we're going to try to do is, we see the SMB is running. We need to log in to that service. So we're going to call the SMB client. We're going to give it our target address, right? So we need to know it's Symfonos. So we're going to log into Symfonos with the anonymous account. See, we are asked for a password. Now let's do this so you guys can see what we're doing here. We need to log in to SMB. Yes. Come back up here. That's still scanning. Let's see. Derb done. The Derb's done. That's good. Did Nikto ever finish? Nikto will finish here in a little bit. Okay, enum for Linux finished too. Okay, that's good. All right. So what we want to do here is we're going to go File. We're going to go a new tab. We're going to call this SMB. Let's call this SMB Anonymous, okay? Because that's what we're logging in as. So let's go SMB. Then we're going to go /anonymous. Okay. Let's log in. Okay, so it's going to log in through SMB to the Symfonos server, which is on 135 under the anonymous account. Now, if you notice, there is a password. The thing is, we don't know a password. But if we did notice in our scan, it was telling us there's no mapping. So watch this. If we just hit enter, there's a misconfiguration. The way they set this up was it didn't need a password because it enabled the anonymous account and there's no password required. So as you notice, our prompt changed now. See, we're in the SMB server, right? That's exactly what we wanted under the anonymous user. So let's scroll forward a little bit more. See, we are asked for a password. Just enter. As we have already learned from our recon and references, the password is not set, as we saw in our enum for Linux scan. Congratulations, our prompt has now changed to SMB. Right. If we come back down, we're going to do a couple basic commands. Again, just navigating the file system in Linux. I give you references and stuff at the very beginning, which was 50 of Linux commands. But again, if you're a seasoned Linux user, you're going to already know these commands. So we're going to do an ls, which is going to list our directories and files. Okay? So we're just going to type ls here. Then you can copy and paste. As you now see here, we have a password and a backups, right? So if you see D is for directory, this is the file. So we see there's a password file and a backups directory, okay? Scroll down. We want to go look. And if you notice here, there's a shadow backup that's in this image. Let me see it. That's showing here. Yeah. Now this shadow.bak, that's a backup file. That's probably going to come in very, very, very handy because it's making a backup. We can look at, usually in a backup file, there's configuration files. So maybe we want to look at these configurations. We can maybe use this to our leverage as well. Let's come back up here. See, woohoo. See, where there are two files. There's a password and a shadow backup and a backups directory. If we go SMB, we're going to go get password. Okay. What this is going to do, it's going to retrieve it. We're going to get the password. Then we're also going to get our shadow backup file. After we get these two files, we can cat them. So that means we'll be able to view them. Okay. So let's do this. So let's go get password. So we want to get this file, copy. And we're going to do this in the SMB, right? So let's go get password. It gets the file, it tells us the password size, so it's got it for us. And then we also want to get the shadow backup, right? Okay, so let's go get shadow.bik. And if you don't feel comfortable, like I said, typing and stuff, that's why I put the commands where you can copy and paste. So you're seeing screenshots of each picture afterwards. So, or you can type it in. The reason at the very beginning I always say, just copy and paste, because just in case you don't have typos. Again, it's good to learn to be able to type and get these commands correctly, but sometimes, especially for newcomers, it's just a pain. And I just made this very quick, so you can just copy and paste, scroll through it, read the resources, you get a very good understanding here. But yes, if you get a chance, go back and, practice on your typing. As you see, the shadow backup file, it pulls it in. Now we want to look inside that directory as well. We're going to change the directory into that backups folder. Wait, so let's look and see what we've got in there. Just to see, we're going to find a log file. So let's see if we get that. Come in here. There's our backups directory right there. So we want to go CD. We're going to just type it. Okay, so we're in backups. We're going to hit LS to list the directories of files. And there's the log text. Now, can we get this log text? Now let's scroll down. See, we see a log tag. Now what we can do is, we can get it as well, right? And then we're going to exit out of the SMB server. Because it looks like we've got all the files that we need, right? So we're going to go get log.txt. It pulled it in for us. That's great. Now we can exit. Now what we want to be able to do is, as you see, we change back into our root Kali. We're no longer in the Samba server. Okay. Well, now, let's cat our new files so we may analyze and review them. So as you see here, there's the cat password. Again, cat means we're going to be able to view it, okay? This looks interesting. Appears to be the same local user we found in our enum for Linux scan results. So, let's do this. Let's go through it. We've got a cat, the password file that we just downloaded. Now, if you look through, it gives us more information. I was just pointing out I found interesting. See, there's a nobody. We're like, nothing really there. There's Mel, nothing there. Again, these are permissions that we're looking for, okay? These are set UIDs, which is set for the folders. So if we look down here, as you see, there's alias, and then there's that Chronos again. If you notice, there is a user, alias and Chronos, and then they also have the bin bash command, so they can run a shell. So think about with bin bash, we can pop a shell here. Now the thing is, we need to look at these privileges that we've got here. This 1000, and then 1001. Again, these numbers have meanings. And you're going to see, I'm going to share a reference. It's going to tell you more about those. Let's come here. So now, if you notice on this one, see, the shadow backup has provided us the alias user with a password hash. Okay? So if you look down, see, we cat the password. Now if we look in this backup file, let's look at that so you can see it. Let's cat shadow, the shadow backup file. All right, if you now look through this, here's Chronos, right? Chronos is also given us right here. See this? This is the hash. Same thing here. This alias user, that is a password. The thing is, if we could crack this hash, this password, we'll now have a username and a password. The same thing for Chronos, okay? Now, let's go through the rest of the steps here. So the shadow backup file has provided the alias user with a password hash. maybe we can use a brute force tool to crack it. So now we're going to understand or learn this is how you would log in to a computer. This is how you would crack a password. So we've got the hash. If you look here, we've also got the log text. Now if you look here, this log text, let's pull that up too so we can view it. Okay, there's a lot of information here in this log text, okay? But just to show you. Now, a lot of this, when you see these pound signs, this means these are commented out. But again, it's a lot of information, but it's good to look over all this information. All information, it's always better to have more information than not enough information. Sometimes is it tedious to be able to look through all this information? Yes. But there's very pertinent information, especially when you know what you're looking for, okay? As you see, yes, there's a lot of information. I copy and I'm point out to you the information that's going to be relevant for us. So if you now notice here in this log text, the Symfonos account, right, as root, when we catted it out, Etsy shadow backup, you're going to see there's a configuration file, SMB configuration file, okay? When we look through this whole configuration file, in this screenshot, we see the path to the shadow back file. And it's Varia backup shadows backup. Okay, so if you look here, there's this home alias share. And when we're looking in the log text, like I said, they're giving us a path right here. See, this backup file to the shadow backup file. So in this screenshot, we see the path to the shadow backup file, which is var variable backup shadow backup. We already used the get command to retrieve this file. Yet if we would not have had access to this in another way, we could have retrieved and got more information on our target. So I'm not trying to be confusing. We were able to already get the information earlier. However, let's say we didn't know where that shadow backup file was and we didn't have that information. This is another way you could have retrieved it because it gave us a file path right here, this variable backup shadow backup, where we can find this configuration file, right? Now, looking it through right here, just to show you, it's giving us the information again, see? We have this under the anonymous user. We have this home alias share directory, right? And it's browsable. So if we look here, let's get some more of the information for you. In this screenshot, we notice the path to the alias user home alias share. Again, more info to validate our findings from the earlier recon. Again, we've got a lot of this from enum for Linux. Again, we're just confirming this information. We're making notes of this. So therefore, we're like, yes, these directories do exist. And now we can find ways in the configuration file by misconfiguration. We can use this to our advantage to exploit. So if you now notice here, .pro-ftpd, there's a configuration file, which is in the user local Etsy folder, okay? So now, if we scroll down, in this screenshot, we can now see the pro-ftb configuration and its path in user local Etsy pro-ftb configuration file, okay? I'm showing you how we can cat and view it, right? Now, if you see, set the user and in-group, and we're looking through the information. So the user is alias and they are in a group called alias. This screenshot verifies the user alias and the group name, right? That we saw just a few minutes ago in our enum for Linux. So everything is, we're being able to validate all the information that we found. We also are realizing there's this user group of FTP and they're in the same group of FTP. See? Simply delete this anonymous section, anonymous FTP. A basic anonymous configuration, no upload directories. If you do not, see, if you do not want anonymous users, simply delete this entire anonymous section. That's how we were able to log in. They didn't delete this, that's why we still had that anonymous user. Okay, Let's scroll down a little bit more. This screenshot verifies that the anonymous FTP account that we used earlier was misconfigured. Okay? See, where clients are able to log in with anonymous as well FTP. So we can use this still to our advantage. Showing you this is how the attack was taking place, and now we're verifying the information that we were able to find. So this is why these attacks are working. We are learning along on our journey, or we're learning a lot on our journey so far. Okay, so let's keep moving forward. I'm seeing some typos. I guess I can go ahead and correct this now while I'm here. All right. Well, now, FTP, which is the File Transfer Protocol, okay? As you see here, I tried logging in with FTP, yet realized I did not have FTP installed on my Kali. Now, the thing is, you might have the same issue. So, if you don't have FTP installed, it's a very simple install. See, that is fine, as it prompted me as if I wanted to install. So, if you get the same prompting as I did, you just hit Y and you follow the terminal instructions. So, as you see here, I typed that I wanted to log in to 135 with FTP. It said it didn't understand the command. I asked if I wanted to install it. I said, yes, I do. Just let it do its job. It installs FTP for you. And its dependencies. Now we can go on to the next step. Okay. So I'm just showing you here just a basic install. Let's scroll down some more. Why is my system freezing? Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. I'm noticing that my connection is kind of dropping in and out. MEMs. I will share your live because it's very useful. How are you, my friend? Oh, well, thank you very much, MEMs. Thank you for dropping by. I just notice looking at the chat. I sometimes forget to do that, looking down at my chat. Actually, yeah, okay. I was just going to make sure, too, if you didn't have the moderator role, but it looks like I've already given you the moderator role once before. Yeah, you're good. Yeah, I hope you're having a good day as well. So to continue a little bit more here, after, back over here, make sure I'm in my virtual machine. Okay, once FTP, our file transfer protocol, has been finished installing, we can now use FTP and attempt to log in. So what we're going to do is we're going to log in. So we're using the command FTP. We're going to log into Symfonos, okay? Now, FTP asks us for a password. Again, just hit the enter key because, again, FTP is misconfigured. They did not set it up. They got anonymously where we can sign in. Again, we learned all this from our recon. This is why recon is so valuable. So, what we can do here is, this is SMB. Let's come back over here. Going to make a new tab. We're going to call this FTP, okay? We're going to rename this session. We're going to call this FTP. Hit OK. Now here, we're going to paste this selection. As you see, FTP into our target machine. So it's connected. Give it a second. It should ask us for the password. Now the thing is, we don't know the password, but again, it's misconfigured. See? For FTP, default installation is telling us the name. We're in root. Hit enter. See? It's required. It needs a password. Hit enter. Now it says the login was incorrect, but that's fine. Notice login failed, but now we are still at FTP. We were able to still get in. As you see, that's exactly what we wanted. If it would have been configured correctly, said it needed a name and a password, it would not have been able to do this. It would have kicked us right off. But now we are in the FTP server. That's exactly what we wanted. Again, this is what happens with human error. Things are misconfigured. All right, let's scroll on a little bit more. The FTP asks us for a password. Again, just hit the enter key. Yay, we have an FTP prompt, and we are connected. Now again, this is a CTF, right? So these are vulnerable on purpose. And it's vulnerable on purpose so we can learn. So if you watch my video from earlier that I just made, this is what we're learning in a lab environment. Okay, so you can understand these different types of issues that can happen. Again, sometimes it's just human mistake, misconfigurations. That's dominantly what they are. But then sometimes it's being able to create an exploit to make the system do something that it's not expecting, or the output. It'll give us some output that it wasn't expecting. Sorry, we're giving it some input that it's not expecting, but it's going to give us some output that we want. Okay, so again, we're hacking it, we're modifying. Okay, now from our earlier exploration and reading of the resources, again, I highly recommend if anybody wants to walk through with this CTF, definitely join my Discord. And again, I got links in the descriptions of my videos, so you can definitely join there. I'll have my PDFs. All you got to do is ask me, give it to you. We can do a walkthrough if you actually want to do one, or you can do this on your own. And again, the image and all that's all from VulnHub. Again, we have many more challenges coming. So if you guys are liking this type of content, I have a lot more that's coming your way. All right. So we learned a few commands, such as GPFR, which is right, or CPFR, which is copy from, and CPTO. So if you read the resource earlier, this is where this information is going to come in handy right now. This is where we can use our newly learned commands. Again, the resources that I'm giving you are being provided for a reason. Because I already know what's coming up ahead. While I was doing this CTF, this is what I Googled and found out. That's why I use the same resources to help me solve the challenge. That's why this is my write-up. Okay, so what we're going to do is, right here it says site. We're going to copy from, we're going to direct it to the folder that we want to get to. This is going to go to the Etsy password folder, right? So let's do this. We're going to go site, copy, here, come back up here. All right, so we're at FTP, paste this. So it's saying we want to copy from the Etsy password folder. Now we're going to copy a certain file, right? Just to show you here. And we're going to copy it to, we're going to copy it from, like I said, it's Linux command. So we're going to copy it from this Etsy password. We want to put it, see, copy it to this home alias user and the share password directory. The reason we're doing this is because we've got access to that directory. Okay. If you see, there's these commands that come through, these codes, 250 says copy successful. I give you resources on this as well. Okay. So again, these resources are very helpful. Let's come back up here. People don't realize if you're going to do pen testing, hacking, yeah, you know, it's reading. You're always constantly learning, and you're going to read a ton. I'm just letting people have a heads up. Like, reading's good, but I love to read. If you love to read books, you're going to love this type of stuff. Reading white papers, you're always constantly learning things, right? So again, reading and comprehension, okay? So now we're going to do this copy from this variable backups. Remember that variable backups folder where the shadow backup was located. Then we had the Etsy password file, and now we've got this backup. So we're going to copy from the site, this directory, or this path, sorry. Copy it right here. Paste it. I'll wait too long. Yeah. I'm sitting here talking. We need to do this in a certain amount of time. If not, as you see, it logs out. See this login timeout? 300 seconds. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to log back in to the FTP server. So let's go exit. Okay. Now let's do FTP again. Type in our command. Give it a second to connect again. Just hit enter. Enter again for the password. Again, see, now we're into FTP. Let's type in our command again. Okay, so 350 file or directory exists and it's ready for the destination name. Let's go to our next step. So here, we're going to copy to, we're going to, remember that alias user? We're going to put it in that share and we're going to use that shadow backup file. Let's copy this. That was successful. Let's continue so we don't time out again. All right, right here we're already done. So all we got to do is exit out of the FTP server. We got the files that we needed. Okay, we're back to our root tally. That's great. Okay, 221, goodbye. That's great, great, great. Give us the information that we needed. Let's scroll down. See, we now have our password file and our shadow backup file. Again, this is another way. If we couldn't have accessed it originally the first way, this is another way, by understanding these commands, that we would have been able to take access through FTP and we would have been able to get these files. So now I showed you two ways that we could have got these files. See, the first way was correct. But let's say we wouldn't have had access to do it that way. That's why we used this file. See, again, this is another way that we could have accessed and transferred these files if we had not had access with the get command. Let's say we didn't have permissions to use get. We could have took advantage of the copy to and copy from. Okay, so I'm just showing you another way. Transfer through the FTP protocol. There's more than always one way to do an exploit or be able to do some enumeration or get the files that we're wanting to get. Okay, so I'm trying to show you guys different ways on how to do things, because again, we can always think outside the box, and there's always different types of technique. On most write-ups, they'll say, yeah, this is the way that they did it. Okay, that's great, but there's always more than one way you have to do something. And who do we got here? Oh, Lana. Hey, nice to see you. Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for stopping by. I'm doing my CTF. Again, I'm not going through all the resources this time. I'm going to actually say that for my class, but I just wanted to go through a quick walkthrough so people can see how the CTF is actually done, and then they can actually see what it's like to pop a box. And then after I get done with this CTF, I'm probably going to do some karaoke. So I did a stream a little bit earlier on the new labs that I'm creating and stuff for the testing environment that we're going to be using for my classes and some resources. So I built that out and everybody kind of see what's going on there. Talked about my Discord. Talked about future upcoming events that's going to be happening. That was in the earlier video. This one's our CTF. And then after this, we're going to do a little bit of karaoke, which I'll probably do maybe about an hour or so. All right, so let's see. Okay, now that we have our files, see, we can now begin brute forcing and find a password to our alias user account. So this now you're going to understand is, oh, remember that hash file that we had? Well, we're now going to be able to use that to our advantage again. But the thing is, I just want to give everybody a heads up. This takes some time. And again, I'm going to show you two ways. If I remember when I wrote this, I think I'll show you two tools. So we're going to understand the Etsy shadow file. So I give you a resource on that. Scroll down a little bit more. How to use Hashcat. Hashcat is a great tool for brute forcing, and it's faster. It uses more resources, but it's way faster. Then we're also going to use the Hydra tool. See, generic hash types. I covered this because I want you to understand what brute forcing is and how hashes work. How to use Hydra to crack passwords, the complete guide. You got a reference for that. I'm going to show you both ways to do it. We'll let you know. Hashcat is faster, but it depends on your hardware specs. Hydra will take longer. The specs don't have to be as bad. Your specs on your computer don't have to be as high, but it will take longer. But I just want to show you multiple ways on how you could use John the Ripper. There's multiple password crackers you could use. But again, it's not like in the movies where it's just 1, 2, 3, and it's done, 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 quick. This does take time. And this one, I'm just going to show you the screenshots because I don't want to sit here and have you have to sit. I think it took me like 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours to crack the password with Hydra. Okay, so how to use Hydra to hack passwords, penetration testing tutorial. So I give you tons of resources here. Security list, where you can get the different security lists, which has got multiple passwords in different formats and all that. So SecList is a great site to go to. Kali SecList examples. Now this is brute force, so yeah, put Hydra or Hashcat. So you can pick either one that you want to do. Again, there's multiple others, but these are the two that we're going to use in this walkthrough. I will now show you two tools in which you can brute force the alias password with. Either are fine. I just want to introduce you to a few more new tools, and you can add it in your pen testing journey. We will first start with Hydra. Okay. Now, just to show you here the way this is set up, so you understand. We will make sure we have our SecList installed on our Kali. Okay. We will use the command sudo apt-y install SecList. So by default, there is SecList that's installed, but we're going to add a more extensive version of some SecList. But we just want to make sure that they're installed, okay? So if you just do this, command sudo, remember, because you're going to be needing root privilege, you're going to go apt-y install SecList. So as you see here, it's going to install it. If you see mine, it was already the newest version. It's always good to check this too. If your SecList is out of date, you could do this and it'll also update it. Make sure that you're up to the current latest version of SecList. I'll show you the screenshot here. Now, we come here. Let me show you this. Now, we will use our locate command to find our path to the rocku.txt file. Okay. Now, rocku is it's a SecList, but it's a very popular one, and it has tons and tons of passwords. It's very popular. We're going to use this to use as our word list to be able to brute force this hash. As you see here, we go locate rocku text. It's going to give me my path. As you see, I'm in root. It's going to show me in my downloads I have a rocku text. But it also shows me the other path. The user, share, and then it's called EPAMR, word list, or rocku text. This is the one that I'm going to be using here. Not path. Now, since we know our path to our rocku text, we can now configure and run Hydra. That's why you need to know the path, so we can set this up in Hydra. So just to show you how the command is being set up and used, I'm just going to break it down so you get an understanding. Okay, we're going to do Hydra, right? And then we're going to use the -F flag and -L. This is the list, right? And this is the user that we're going to use, alias. And this is the password, right? And for the password, we're going to use this directory, this path, this rocku text, right? I just showed you the user, share, AppHammer, word list. This is where mine's located. And yours will probably be possibly same place. But again, definitely use the command so you can check to make sure your path is correct. Then we're going to go FTP, because right, the file transfer protocol, we want it to log in to 135, and then it's going to use this cred text, right? It's going to use this, put this information that we need in this creds text. That's where our password is going to be saved. Now, if you look through here, it ran, and it's showing you this took me about 3 or 4 hours to run it. I'm going to show you here at the end to save you some times where you don't have to find a password. But if you see right here, once it finds it, If you look here, this FTP host at 192.168.148.135. This is the login that we used was alias, right? But the password, it's Sergio Timo. See, it was able to crack it. It took a while, okay? See, after a few hours of running Hydra, I was able to crack the alias password. As you see here, gave you a screenshot of what I was able to find. I saved you a lot of time and effort. You could skip this step and now you could continue further. I want to show you this is how we would crack a password. This is with Hydra. The next step is going to be with Hashcat. Hashcat is quicker. Just to let people know, I think this took me like 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. It wasn't very long. Hashcat. Right here I give you the command. So Hashcat is going to go -m. And again, I give you some references so you'll understand why we're using these. Actually, I break it down here too, but I give you some references so you'll have something to understand. So look, Hashcat -m. -m, see, this is the option for the hash type. Again, these numbers, this 1800 is the type of hash type. See, our hash is a SHA-512, so we will use 1800. Now, after a while, you'll get familiar with different types of hashes and the codes that are used. As a newcomer, though, I give you resources so you can look these up. See, there's a list. I give you the resource so you can look at the list and stuff, and now you can cross-reference, and now you'll understand, oh, what type of SHA do you have, and what is the option once the hash type, do you put the flag, right? So we will come down here. Again, I'm breaking down each command so you understand. -A, 0. See, this is the attack mode. In this case, 0 stands for straight mode, a dictionary attack. So you can do different types of attacks. So that's what this is standing for. And if you see, yeah, down a little bit further. Now if you see here, pass.text, alias text, okay? If you see here, see pass.text, alias text. This file contains the hash or the hashes that you're trying to crack. It should be a text file with 1 hash per line. So what I did, that hash, I copied it earlier and I opened it up in Nano, which is a text editor in Linux, and I posted the file there and I named it my alias text, okay? So as you see, I opened up Nano and I copied our alias hash into a text and saved it as alias text. So that's what I'm referencing right here, okay? If you recall, our alias hash was in our shadow.backup file. We can cat it and copy and paste it in Nano. I'm showing you exactly the same steps I did so you can follow along. So there's where I catted it. This is the file. This is Nano. I copied and pasted it right here in Nano. Hit Control right here. Once you save it, you just hit Control X. Buffer type, you're going to type Y. You're going to name your file. This is where I named it alias.text. You hit enter. Right here, alias.text. You hit enter. And then the last part was the user share wordless RockU text. This is your dictionary or the list of potential passwords like the hash file. It should be a text file with 1 entry per line. Again, RockU text was already created. So again, I should now look at the command. We now understand what each flag means and how to set it up correctly. Okay. After we run it, as you see, it's going to start scanning. It is a lot faster. Once Hashcat is completed, you can now type pass.text. This is how you're going to view it. So you're going to think it didn't come back with any results. The thing is, the results are there. You just got to cat it, remember, so you can view it. We saved it as pass.text. As you see here, once I cat the password, this is what the result looks like. It's going to come back here. See, the pass text. If you see here, this was our hash, right? Then you see Sergio Timo. So that's how we know our hash was cracked. That's how, congratulations, you cracked your first password. See, okay, if you were like me and you kept getting this response in your hash cat, then no fear. It worked correctly and the password is saved in a profile. See, right here, it kept coming back. Once you scan for the first time, it keeps a profile of all the passwords, so it don't have to keep reduplicating itself. So if you've already scanned one, it saves it in a directory file. So I give you some references to talk about this, but it'll save you some trouble if you're like, why can't I find the password? You keep getting this error. See, all hashes found is the profile or empty entries. The thing is, the entries aren't empty, they're saved in a profile. They just add the command -- show at the end of your line. So if you notice here, see, show display, right? So if we go here, as you see here, this is the command that we use right there, -- show. So if you see at the end of our script that we're going to run, just put -- show. You will get this output if everything worked correctly. So it'll look just like mine here. Once again, we get the result and the password of Sergio Timo. See? Woohoo! So 2 ways that you're able to crack the hash. Well, you can use Hydra, or you can use a brain. This one, I just had a brain fart. Hashcat. There's other tools that you could use as well. John the Ripper, multiple. So enjoy, pick your favorite flavor, and get the crack in. Okay. So now you know 2 tools to crack hashes and passwords. Great job. Hashcat is much faster than Hydra. Yet it depends on your hardware as well. Okay. So next step is step 10, which is SSH. Okay. I'll give you some resources, explain to you what SSH is. Now, since we now know we have this alias user at this account of 135, see, okay, now that we have a better understanding what SSH is, how it works, let's try to SSH into our alias user account. So we're going to copy this, right click, come back up here. All right, now let's go File, go New tab. There you go. Let's call this SSH. Again, remember, always keeping our tabs in order and keeping everything in an organized manner. So let's go SSH. Again, this is great for taking notes, so you can copy yours into your cherry tree, or if you're using Obsidian for your write-ups and walkthroughs, so you can play along with me and show your friends. All right, so here we get a password, right? Now the thing is there going to be a password set up here? What? OBS has crashed. Did my stream just end?